Hello everyone, my name is Ayana Harrison and I am here to present the effect of chronic ethanol consumption on sexual motivation and behavior of adult male Wistar rats in the copulatory phase. Just to give a general overview, the interaction of ethanol consumption and sexual behavior in male rats has been assessed for years due to the higher prevalence of alcoholism in men than women. A number of studies have been conducted to elucidate the effect of ethanol consumption on male sexual dysfunctions and sexual behavior. Studies have shown that ethanol consumption can affect general behaviors such as changes in spermatogenesis, sperm motility, and reduction of the male reproductive organ weight. However, on the other hand, other studies have shown that prolonged low-dose ethanol intake does not impact the copulatory activity significantly. The objectives of this study are to evaluate the effect of chronic and heavy consumption of ethanol on male rats' behavior when introduced to intact females, and to evaluate the effect of chronic ethanol consumption on sexual behavior in the copulatory cycle, including the pre-copulatory phase, copulatory phase, and executive phase, with details of the events, such as the duration and frequency. To complete this study, 20 male Wistar rats were randomly allocated into two groups of 10, one being the control group, which were given tap water, and the other being the ethanol treated group, which were given an ethanol dosage of 4.5 grams per kilograms of their body weight. After 42 days of treatment, the male rats were given access to estrus and non-estrus female rats for 2 hours, and this is where their sexual behavior were recorded in a fully dark room using infrared cameras. The results of the experiment are 5 out of 10 females introduced in the control group were in estrus, and 6 out of 10 females introduced to the treated group were in estrus. In comparison to control, anal vaginal latency was significantly longer in treated than control. Also, it took the treated group a longer time to detect if the female rats were intact, and on top of that, mounting, intermission, and ejaculation latencies were significantly longer. In addition, there was a significantly less amount of ejaculations from the treated group than the control. To get a better understanding of the last slide, Figure 1 depicts time versus the various sexual behavior parameters, mount latency, intromission latency, ejaculation latency, and anal vaginal latency. In comparison to the control, the asterisk above the ethanol treated group denotes that it took a significantly longer time to perform each sexual behavior. Here in Figure 2, it displays the effect of ethanol consumption on intromission frequency and mount frequency. Post-ejaculatory and inter-intromission intervals were significantly higher in the ethanol-treated group compared to those in the control group. However, there was not a significant difference in the parameter intromission frequency between the control and the ethanol-treated groups. In the last figure, Figure 3, it shows the effect of ethanol consumption on the sex activity index. It shows that the sex activity index significantly declined in the ethanol-treated males compared to those in the control males, meaning the ethanol-treated group had a harder time initiating and engaging in the sexual activity with the intact females. So moving on to discussion, we're going to focus on the two main objectives for the research. The first objective was to evaluate the effect of chronic and heavy consumption of ethanol on male rats when introduced to intact females. Based on the results, ethanol-treated male rats' anal vaginal latency was significantly longer and sexual motivation lasted longer. This suggests that ethanol consumption impairs the cues of indicating of which female rats were intact or not intact, thus showing which rats were willing to have sex and those who did not want to have sex. For the second objective, evaluating copulatory cycle, due to mounting, intermission, ejaculation latencies that were significantly longer in ethanol-treated rats, this suggests that prolonged administration of alcohol behavior components displayed in copulatory cycle in relation to estrus females were significant. Overall, the results suggest that chronic ethanol exposure showed a reduction in sexual motivation and sexual desire, as well as sexual receptivity and performance in males, suggesting that exposure to ethanol can negatively affect the various sexual behavior parameters of the male rats. Nevertheless, further research is required to elucidate the mechanisms through which ethanol produced these behavioral defects in order to create a practical or treatment strategies for alcohol-induced adverse effects in the reproductive system. Thank you for your time.